Hi. Now wait, I know what you're thinking. I am aware by the fact that I haven't published a psychic devlog in over, well, I can't actually check since I moved all the videos from my first channel to my second channel, but I'd guess about like, 4 or 5 months maybe. But it's because, as you know, my new PC took a very long time to set up, and this is apparent by the fact that I started making this devlog while still on my Mac. So you will see a change somewhere in the video from Mac to PC. Anyway, so let's get started. So I started off with my empty scene, with which I immediately copied over the dream place to, and I think we're done. That'll be it for this video. Then I added a quick door open animation, and that's gonna be like bam, you open the door like bam, and there's gonna be some in there. I don't know yet. I mean I do because I'm recording this after, but like bam. Now I'm going into Blender and making a fleshy tube, because I mean, why the hell not? I did this with thickness and displacements and whatnot, and eventually ended up with this. Yeah, I don't exactly know what brought me up to this. I thought it'd be cool or something. I don't know what the fuck. Then I added a nice meaty material to this, and I actually tried baking the UVs to a texture, but yeah, that's kind of a whole box of worms that I don't want to dive into yet, because Jesus Christ, that's confusing. So then I slapped it into Unity, looking real nice and gross. Now I'm downloading some skybox textures that I don't even end up using, but I do use the grass texture it for some reason came packed with. And it was at this point when I finally got my PC, and oh ho ho, this is where the fun begins. I began by importing Psychic into Unity, and that's a lot of errors. And oh my god, look how smooth it is. Like, look at this. And now look at this. I also tried to build the project because that's something I couldn't do for some reason on the Mac. It's so confusing, I don't even know why. And it actually worked. I had a little bit of problems with like admin permissions and stuff, but it's good now. Then I was playing TF2 and I saw this. So that's cool. Anyway, next I made a chair into liquid, as you do. And then I went back to the fleshy tube and made a cube that will work as the main map of the dream. Skipping ahead a bit, I made a map layout where you need to circle around to get a key and then access a part to the left. But there's like a flesh wall that's blocking your way, and I'm just making that here. I even sculpted in some Will McDaniel style head holes, along with some meaty tentacles. I achieved this with Bezier curves, the depth slider, and Alt-S to scale them. After plopping this in the scene, I also added a bit at the back so it has more depth. Now I'm making the key that opens up the path, and place that in the right place too. And to top it all off, I made a big cylinder to act as the final room. Then I added the chair back and placed it among the stuff along with a table. And I must say, even without the meaty texture, this is looking very nice. Speaking of flesh, here's it now with all the fleshy textures, and this looks so good. Also, I might just have to add a bit of ambient occlusion to the game, because this makes it look so much better with all of the corner shadows and stuff. Anyway, here it is in the game. Unfortunately, the hole wasn't the right size, so I had to resize that, and now here that is with all the good textures and stuff. And that's a bit big. So I fixed it, and now it's good. Also, I forgot to show this, but I worked out to get smooth shading to work into Unity, because that flesh wall was really ugly otherwise. And then I tried to add lights, and this is when it all kind of fell apart. See, I found out that Unity can only handle so many real-time light bouncing at one time. So what was my solution? Simple really, I'll just bake them. So if you don't know, baking lights is so essentially real-time lighting, you can only have so many of them. So baking lights, you kind of just you convert the light maps into a texture that you kind of apply to the surface of the objects, and then you can have more real-time lights, so it makes it look better with it's the equivalent of UV cycling. Several days and lots of head scratching later, I found out about this, render mode settings. And I just had to set the players one to important, and that pretty much fixed it. Anyway, after that whole thing, I made the key work with the flesh wall, and made a little animation for it. It was also at this point that I went and fixed most of the other lighting bugs in the scene, most importantly, the spooky dream. And I had the privilege of having another go at good old baked lighting. All that ended up achieving though was making everything green though. I couldn't begin to tell you why this was though. Eventually I just settled on deleting most of the lights and also replacing the area lights with a spotlight in both of the spooky dreams. Although I did do some more touch-ups in the dream place, such as more baked lighting. As well as that, I'm also finally adding a skip function to the cutscene, which was much needed. I think I'm going to end off this video by adding something to the big cylinder. I thought about making it all cool and some kind of ink monster, so I hopped back into Blender, and using the sculpting tool I made garbage. Oh, and it's so terrible, it just looks like that monster from the Scooby-Doo movies. Oh, it's so terrible. I ended up just replacing it with a meat thing, and I even put a nice glass casing for some reason. And yeah, I think this fits quite well in the game, and I think that's just about it. That'll be it for this video. Sorry it took so long. Remember to like and subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss a video and you'll always be up to date. Anyway, thanks and goodbye.